welcome to this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports. And the month of August means big things, and when we have big things going on, we bring on Brandon Paul, right?
Bring in the big people, right?
The big people, but we had you on after you won the first ever giveaway car, so that's a big deal. Then, you help us as we gear up to go to the Snowball Derby, which I hate to say it, but it's just around the corner.
It is. It's getting very close, and we're already starting preparations on speed51.com for the Snowball Derby, and definitely excited to get back down there, and always excited to get down there. Just such an excellent event.
Yeah, but before the Snowball Derby, we had a big event going on right up the street at Oxford Plains Speedway, August 30th, which you guys have got a huge presence in now, this year's Oxford 250.
Oh, I'm so excited about the Oxford 250 this season. Last year was one of the first years in like 13 years that I didn't go. And now this year get to come back and with speed51.com in a big way, hosting pay-per-view coverage on speed51.com. And we're just so excited about that. It's such a great race. And I feel as though being from Maine, growing up at Oxford, that maybe other people in other parts of the country don't realize how great the Oxford 250 is. As far as a single-day event, I don't think it gets any better. From the qualifying, well, from the draw, I should say, because that's when it all starts, to qualifying with the heats, the consies, the last chance races. I don't think anything can beat the one-day show of the Oxford 250.
Well, no, but it's a weekend event. The support divisions get to be on the undercard. The Volante Modified Series rolling in Saturday night, and it's just so much happening on one little square up there in Route 26.
Oh yeah, and then obviously you have the camping and all the fun that happens after the races up there. So I'm sure a lot of race fans out there will have a great time with that, and it's just a huge event, fun time to get together with people, other race fans from different parts of the country. I mean, you're going to have drivers coming from Canada, you're going to have drivers coming from the Carolinas, and just an excellent event, and we're definitely excited about what we're doing this year on speed51.com.
Yeah, the live coverage, that's something that's never been done up there. Last year, the last couple of years, you've done it over other parts of the country with some of the bigger events, most notably the Snowball Derby. But now, that track in Oxford that's been putting on this race for 40-plus years, and the likes of, the Rose that have won it, Eddie McDonald, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Craven, Hanley, these names, Nason.
Yeah.
Now Travis Benjamin, he's going to be the big story of the weekend, trying to do what only Ralph Nason's done. I mean, unprecedented, really.
There's so many stories going into this year, too, which makes it even more exciting. You mentioned Travis Benjamin. That's the obvious storyline going for 3 in a row, but I mean, you have Mike Rowe going back looking for a 4th. And then all of a sudden you have all these drivers emerging that nobody at the start of the year would have even thought to be contenders for the Oxford 250. Jeremy Davis. I mean, he's one of the most consistent drivers in the Northeast this season. And then you have a guy like Garrett Hall, who turned heads at Oxford, coming from 26th to 3rd. Just a lot of different storylines to take. Some, you have your favorites, but really there's a lot of, and I don't even want to call them underdogs, just contenders. There's so many contenders this year that going in there, if you gave me a piece of paper and told me to put down 5 drivers that I thought would win, I don't know if I could do it, because there's just so many good drivers that have a legitimate chance.
And what's funny is that race, every year you come in with favorites. This guy's dominant. And 2 guys that come to mind that came into that race as real big favorites, had phenomenal seasons, whether it was at the weekly level or on the touring level, and failed that weekend, was Ricky Rolfe back a few years, and Joey Polaczyk, who won it on a year that he came in as nobody was even thinking about him. So how many guys aren't we thinking about that at the end of the day, like, where's this guy come from?
Exactly. Man? Roger Brown.
Yeah,
Roger Brown, the year he won the Oxford 250,
and
Jeremy Wharf.
Yeah.
Jeremy was a good driver and everything, but nobody ever expected him to win the Oxford 250.
No.
And even, we mentioned Jeremy Davis, we mentioned Garrett Hall and Brian Krusak, but there's probably a whole nother list of guys that very well could surprise you and put in a strong effort. Corey Morgan a few years back, finishing 3rd. It's really exciting with so many possibilities and so many question marks. It's good to have question marks to get the fans out there. They want to see what's going to happen. And
we know they'll have a huge crowd, but now more importantly, people from other parts of the country that can't make the trek to Oxford the last weekend in August can now go to speed51.com and purchase this live TV package.
Yeah, that's like I was saying. It's so many people know the Oxford 250, but they've never been able to see it before. They've never been able to see the drama of qualifying. They're used to, I mean, and I love the Snowball Derby and a lot of the other big super late model events, but time trials just do not give the fans in the seats as much excitement as qualifying heat races. And that's going to bring some of those fans down south like into a whole new thing, being able to witness that. We're, like I said, we're just really excited to be able to, for the first time, put it out there so that it can be on a national stage and so many more people can witness how great the Oxford 250 is.
Yeah, no, you're right, Brandon. But I'm excited. We're going to, along with you guys have got every day, it seems like something going on speed51.com about the Oxford 250. We're planning our annual, we call it the 250 press conference show, which will air the week before. We're lining up our list of drivers. We spend the whole show sitting with them, in a press conference format, asking them questions, the obvious questions, but the other questions that people don't get to hear. They're not just race related. And, obviously the first guy that we check off the list that will be there will be Travis Benjamin as he tries to add his list, not only to what Mike Rowe and Dave Dion have done, but kind of put himself a step above those guys by doing it 3 in a row with Ralph Nason.
Yeah, Travis, and I think he has a great shot at doing it. He is, I would put him in the category of maybe a handful of favorites. He ran strong in the 150 a week ago Sunday, and he's proven he has a great track record at Oxford. He has that race circled on his calendar. He's been running decent, but he hasn't had the greatest year up to this point. But I just think that even gives him more motivation going into this race because this is the one he puts on his calendar and he's proven he's so good at.
Yeah, you're right. So we're excited about it. You can watch it right there live on speed51.com. Go there, check it out, get signed up ahead of time. Don't wait till race day and get it all because everything, everybody just so much going on. So, you can go right on there and sign up and pay right then with your credit card. So we're going to take a break. We come back. I'm going to talk to Brandon about something I did this past weekend for the first time. And everybody I run into said, "You've never done that? You've never been there?" But no, and tell you, it was pretty amazing. And we'll be right back here on Mainly Motorsports.
Fast Laps Raceway is Maine's premier slot car facility. 641 Lakes Region Commons Drive in North Windham. Whether you want to try out the rentals or have your own custom car built, Fast Laps Raceway can make a racer out of anyone. Birthday parties at Fast Laps are always a hit. If you have ever wanted a fun, inexpensive way to get involved in the sport of racing, Fast Laps Raceway gives you that chance. Find Fast Laps on Facebook or call 207-229-1575. Fast Laps Raceway. Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by
Bentley Saloon, Route 1 in Arundel. Stop by and see why me and my friends say, who has more fun than us? We do.
LKQ Core. Any part, any repair, anywhere. Located on Route 202 in Gorham. Southern Maine Motors. Out to be Maine's #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership. Route 1 Saco.
Well, back here with Brandon Paul and Stafford Motor Speedway, one of the marquee facilities throughout New England. And I made my first ever trek down there last Friday to watch the NASCAR, wheel and modified event. But really my focus of going was young Matt Swanson. I've got to know Matt, I've known the family over the years and watched him not grow up. I haven't been hands-on, but I remember the first time I ever met him was at a go-kart on an indoor track at Victory Lane Indoor Karting over in Portland, Maine. And to see where he is progressed to, and and we watch all these kids, and I'm not knocking anybody's kids. Every kid's different, just like every adult. But this is a good kid. Matt Swanson is a good kid. He's appreciative. He's always attentive to his team, his goals. Doesn't come in there with a chip on his shoulder because there might be a little more funding there for him than there is the next kid. So I just felt like, and not that it made his day, but it made my day to say, you know what, I'm going to take my first trip to Stafford, and I'm going to go down and watch Matt Swanson make his debut on that tour.
Oh, yeah, Matt Swanson. I just recently, I think it was 2013 or 14, it was 2014, the first tri-track race at Lee. I got to watch him race for the first time, and he was definitely very impressive out there. I mean, he's smooth, level-headed, I guess you could say, and he's really, he's taken a good path to get to that step. And I think, like you've said, he's proven he's a mature kid and he can handle that type of race car. And to come home with a 15th place finish at Stafford, competing against the best of the best in those type of cars. The NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour is the best of the best in tour type
Oh,
modifieds
yeah.
that you're going to find, and a lot of teams probably have a lot more money going into it than he had. So it's an impressive showing, and youngest ever driver to
15
start.
years old.
15
and,
years old.
You know, it was neat because they all pitted around the midway mark. So I'll call it the first half of the race. I mean, he was right there. I mean, he was as fast as anybody.
Right.
And, you know, I talked to his dad after, and I said, you know, obviously you spot. I mean, you're holding the reins, and they did. They kept readjusting the car, not to slow it up, but just like, you know, don't let him get overconfident because that's when mistakes happen. And you know, at the end of the race, a smile on his face. You know, other drivers coming over and nice job, because he did race with some of the top heavy hitters in that, and things happened around him that he avoided. He saw happening. You know, like, you know, a couple times, you know, a couple guys mixing it up. You know, he'd stay around their bumper. He's like, I'm going to give myself a little room when something happens. And one time something did happen, and he was able to easily maneuver his way through it.
Yeah, and I actually, Ryan Preece had a quote after the race calling it like a hornet's nest. He had to try to escape the hornet's nest because there was a lot of contact there between drivers throughout the field. So to be able to gain that respect from his competitors in his first career start, 15 years old, I think that's a win in itself. He isn't going to take home a trophy. May not make headlines, but it's a respectable finish for your first start in that division, and I really think at 15 years old, if he gets the right opportunities, he can definitely be a shoe in the future.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. And it made my first ever trip to Stafford well worth it. You know, the other thing I was impressed with? The passion that those race fans have. I mean,
Modified country.
we got an SK race going on. Now, obviously, Pitt Cat and Priest and Pennick and Christopher, those are your guys in modified racing. But it's a 40-lap SK race. It's just no different than the Pro Series race we watch or the late model race we watch somewhere. You know, that's a headline division. You have your favorites. But for the most part, you're there. A lot of people are there for somebody else. The crowd was on their feet for like the last lap or two, you know, like for everything. I mean, I was like, look at these people. They are so passionate. I think that just struck me by like, that's what I want to see at a racetrack.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I want to see. Not, you know, all this, all that, you know, complaining about a flagman or complaining about the safety crew or complaining about the facility.
Well, they'll still
you know?
complain, you know.
Oh, yeah,
you
well,
got to complain.
I guess
about
I'm just not friends with these ones on Facebook, right?
Exactly.
But I was like, look at that. And I'll tell you, you know, 3+ hour ride, you know, rolled in at 3:30 in the morning. One of the best trips I've ever taken to a racetrack, especially being a first time thing. I'd do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, modified fans are just so passionate and so connected to what they follow. I mean, there's groups on Facebook and everything where those fans during the week are just itching for modified racing. I remember last year at the fall final, it was Ted Christopher, Ryan Preece, and I think Woody Pitcat were all in a tight championship battle. Stafford pulled an excellent marketing move, and they gave all the fans coming in, they could choose Team TC or Team Preece or Team Pitcat. And those fans, I got chills a little bit, I'm not going to lie. When they were making their pace laps, Ben Dodge, the PA announcer, comes over and asks everybody, who are you cheering for? If you're Team TC, get up on your feet. And I mean, that place just went wild down there. Everybody's holding up their signs. And then what about Team Priest? And then you hear, I mean, for each driver, you heard some boos, you heard some cheers.
Yep.
They're just so into what they go to watch.
I was utterly amazed. And, you know, after out in the parking lot, you know, the people still talking racing. You know, you're walking by and, you know, people are talking about the race. And, you know, just, when you go to a race for a first time experience, you know, that was all I expected and then some. And so I encourage anybody that's never been to Stafford, make the trek.
Oh, definitely. It's one of those bucket list tracks. And if you can do it when the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour is there, that's the best time to do it because, I mean, Modifieds is obviously what they're famous for down there. But you also have to see the SK Modifieds. Those are, I refer to the SK Modifieds as one of the toughest weekly divisions in the whole country. For a weekly division, you're going to be hard-pressed to find another division that's as competitive and exciting.
After one of the restarts, it was like lap 7, the 16 cars that were in the field, you could put a blanket over them.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so.
And there's just so many passes because they just bottom shot.
Yeah.
They just go right to the bottom of the track, slide up in front of the other, the next turn, the next guy goes and bottom shots them. It's good racing, and like you said, the passion that the fans have would enhance your experience as first time there.
It did me. It absolutely did me. So make the trek to Stafford, and I know we got the 250. We talked about that in segment 1, but there's other things going on in Speed 51. You just don't have to wait to join this 51 network for the 250. It's
Exactly.
happening now.
Yeah, the 51 network released, I don't know, maybe a month or so
Yep.
ago now. It's going really well, and we're really excited to keep going. If you're not sure of what it is, definitely head to speed51.com and check it out. Basically highlights from all over the country, short track racing, super late models, modifieds, mini stocks, whatever you
Yep.
want, it's there. And we try to update with at least 3, 4, 5 videos a day. And if you get home from work, sit down on your computer, check out the past race at Oxford. Some drama happened down at Beach Ridge. Go check it out. We had the Modified Racing Series drama there
Yep.
last week. So a lot of stuff happening. And also, if you subscribe for the 51 Network now and become a subscriber, 10% off Oxford 250 pay-per-view subscriptions. So
Yeah. So
I
you
think
get your money back right now. You know?
yeah, you get a discount on that. So definitely check that out.
And Mainly Motorsports airs the
Exactly.
entire episode each week on the 51 network. So I'm excited about that, to put our product in front of other people throughout the country. You know, I'm not gonna say it's not gonna do anything for us, but it's putting your product out in front of others, just like us trying to help you guys and put your product in. You know, it's
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's about getting your product, but also the short track racing product. As far as say a regular super late model race at Oxford, somebody in Florida, somebody in California can watch that and kind of see what it's like up here. Maybe you want to watch highlights from like an Outlaw super late model race, because we don't have Outlaw super late models up here in the Northeast. Well, the Summer Sizzler, the Kalamazoo Clash, races like that, you can go to the 51 network and you can see what it's all about. Because, I mean, we know the Oxford 250, we know the Snowball Derby, but there's maybe some other big races in other parts of the country, like the Midwest, with the Kalamazoo Clash and the Summer Sizzler, and those races that people can go and check out. And, I mean, for the price of $60, I think, for the year, for each month, it works out to about $5, I think it
Yeah.
is. And
pretty cheap money to watch racing.
Exactly. There's tons of videos on there, archived. Everything's archived, so you can go in anytime you want and check it out. If all of a sudden you want to go watch the super late model race from Oxford 4 weeks back or whatever, just go right in, check it out. And also Throwback Thursdays, some old Featherlight modified Bush North highlights.
Well, that's the stuff. That just makes it worth it.
Yeah,
You know? I mean,
we're just trying to mix it up a lot, not just do highlights, but also we've done a few at the shop is what we call it,
I see
where
those, yeah.
we'll go to like H. Scott Motorsports or a driver's shop and just kind of do a sit-down interview, show you the shop and everything. So we try to offer a lot, and we're going to continue to try to improve it as we go on. And like everything we do, we're just hoping that it continues to get better as it goes
catches
along.
on. But speed51.com, sign up for the live network, 250 coverage, just a lot happening, and it's your connection to short track racing throughout the country. So, Brandon, I want to thank you. I know you're a busy weekend.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
off and running. It never stops. It's like me and you. We're two ships passing in the night. Didn't Barry Manilow say that?
Yeah,
Isn't that a Barry Manilow
every
song?
so often we meet.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll be our little theme song. We'll find a good Barry Manilow song, and that'll be our theme song.
I'm not sure I want to have a Barry Manilow
I
song.
love Barry Manilow. He's my favorite singer. He's my CD in the car right now.
Jeez.
Barry Manilow.
I don't know.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with some race footage here on Mainely Motorsports.
Looking for something different and exciting to do on Friday night? How about real NASCAR racing at Lee USA Speedway, featuring the ground-pounding, super-fast, super-modifieds, the fender-rubbing late model sportsman, unpredictable hobby stocks, and more. It's great family fun and excitement. Kids under 12 get in free, and there's acres of free and easy parking. Friday nights at Lee USA Speedway, located right on Route 125 in Lee, New Hampshire. Check LeeUSASpeedway.com for more information.
Hi, I'm Johnny Wolf. Since 1972, my family has been selling and servicing vehicles here on Route 25 in Gorham. Today at 21st Century Motors, we offer a great selection of used vehicles at the lowest prices and financing for all credit scores. At Wolf Auto Service, our ASE certified technicians do quality auto repairs and state inspections for just $58.50 per hour. Stop in at our Route 25 Gorham, Maine location today or online at 21stcenturymaine.com.
For a trusted name in residential and commercial site work in the southern Maine area, call Peter Pettit Excavating. We can handle everything from the complete house lot to those nasty water and sewer line repairs. Septic systems are another area that we specialize in. During the snow season, Pettit Excavating has the equipment to handle any size job.
And when the race season arrives, be sure to follow the number 7 Ewart's Family Restaurant Chevrolet on the past Super Late Model Tour.
Call 207-282-9305 to get the job done right. That's Peter Pettit Excavating.
Very familiar face here. Now be over to his third of the series. The former pro series. Here we go now. He goes around in corner 60. Caution, the flag is outstretched. Flag Welch is up by a fender in the back of the line and number 60 is on the charge. He's got it around the
All right, Eddie, I'm going to look because I don't know if you got any ass left because you drove it off all night. I mean, from the heat to the consi to that event and end up on the podium. I mean, didn't look that way early in the night, did it?
No, definitely didn't. Earlier in the night before, during the heat race, the car was pretty good. We were in a great spot. Kind of got tangled up and got spun, and that was unfortunate, but we were able to make it in the consi and come. I think we started 22nd or something. So Rolly and the guys gave me a great car. They really did a good job getting this car fast, and just kind of burned it up a little bit. But it was a great car. I would have liked to have had a little more tire left at the end.
Well, you had the best seat in the house for the race between Brad and Helliwell and even Joey Pola earlier. So it's good you got to stay focused and stay up on the wheel because anything can happen and you got to be ready. I mean, it happened early in the race and you gained a lot of positions when there was a big wreck on the backstretch.
Yeah, definitely. Those guys were racing hard. They run clean against each other, so I wasn't too worried about them taking each other out. But they were racing hard. I was hoping to be able to get my nose in there and mess with them a little bit and hopefully be able to make a pass. But these guys did a great job on my car, and it was a lot of fun out there.
All right, congratulations on a third-place finish.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with a runner-up finisher. We talked before the race. You thought you had a good car, and one point during the race looked like you were going to be happy with a top 5 finish. But things played out. Some guys started making contact, and runner-up. So really good night for you and your team.
Yeah, definitely a really good night. Our flat track stuff definitely is well known that it isn't the greatest, but we stumbled upon some stuff here that's a little outside the box for us, but it's been working. And tonight, I think we had about a 3rd or 4th place car and came away with 2nd, led some laps at the end, and I'm tickled pink. This is good momentum. Move on to the next one.
Well, obviously, everybody wants to win races, but we also think of the big picture. And, at the end, you get the restart, you get the jump on Brad. And, I don't know if at that point you thought you were going to hold him off, but, I mean, he was the best car tonight. So, you kind of raced real smart at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I knew we got the jump, and we went down into one, and I was able to roll a little bit. I knew he was tight from the restart before, and I figured if I get to the bottom, I was equally as tight. And I just slowed down and keep myself on the bottom. And he did what he had to do. He's got millions of laps up here, and he rolled around the outside. And I wasn't putting up a fight because I was happy with what we had.
Yeah, no. So congratulations, you and your entire team. Roll out of here, good points night, and move on to the next one.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, we're here with a winner, and how big is that? I mean, how big is that for the Brad Babb, the entire family?
It's huge to be able to win here. Pretty sure I'm the first in the family to win a tour race here of any kind, and that feels great. But just to win anything is always awesome. But to be at the next level and be winning act races now, where before I was winning weekly races, just to be able to step it up and be a top-notch tour guy really is incredible.
Right now, you're still breathing hard. You've been in victory lane for 5 or 6 minutes. But I want to know, how long can you hold your breath? Because it took you about 2.5 minutes to navigate through all that lap traffic with like 28 to go.
Yeah.
And you had to be patient, but you wanted to get through it because you knew if the race stayed green, that was going to give you the cushion. And,
Right.
unfortunately, it didn't stay green. But, yeah, there was some tense moments there.
Oh, definitely. And really, I knew, like you said, I knew if the race stayed green, it would give us a cushion, but I also knew if we had a caution and a few of them would stay in there, that it might give us a cushion. And they stayed in there, but it didn't really work out that way. But it all worked out in the end, and I couldn't be any happier.
Now, a restart with 5 or 6 to go. Wayne Hallowell gets the lead. Now, I know Brad Babb, okay? Brad Babb's not going to settle, okay? Sometimes we get over-aggressive, right? But did you still know at that point you had the best car and you had the car to beat?
I knew if I could get outside of him, I might be able to get by. But I really didn't know if I was going to have enough to get there. And I really have to thank Wayne. He gave me all the room in the world. He raced me perfectly clean, and I knew he would. And I wasn't going to rough him up because I knew he wouldn't do that to me. And I really need to thank him for racing me clean.
But how exciting for you, the entire family, Beach Ridge, in front of the home crowd. So congratulations to Brad Babb. Now he can call himself an ACT Tour winner here at Beach Ridge Motor Speedway. As you can see in the piece, it was a great, great ACT race, and congratulations to the entire Babb family. They live a half a mile from me, and when you think of Beach Ridge, obviously we think of the Cusacks, we think of the Libbies, we think of the Drew family, we think of families that have meant so much to that track, and the Babb family's right up there with all of them. Brad being a third generation, not only racer, but champion, and that's unheard of. Only the Cusacks and the Babbs have been 3 generations of champions down there at Beach Ridge Motor Speedway. So such a great night and such a proud night for that entire family. So we're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to talk about a little bit what went on over at Lee USA Speedway this past weekend, and a great night of racing for the McDonald family and the entire staff and everybody involved over there at Lee USA Speedway.
One company is on a mission to put 1 million people to work each year. Sounds like a big number, doesn't it? Not to express employment professionals.
With jobs for CNC programmers and welders, we can find you the best opportunity.
Let us help. We'll open doors for you.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
Legendary race car driver Bentley Warren is putting Arundel on the map. When Bentley's Saloon opened in 2004, it was just a little bar room on the side of the road. Today we have a giant saloon with live music, dancing, and great food and drink indoors and out. We're always looking to meet new friends and have a good old time. There's always something exciting going on at Bentley's. That's why we like to say, who has more fun than us? We do!
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 7 convenient locations: Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, Portland, Sanford, Lewiston, and now South Portland. Visit us at moodyscollision.com.
Scotch Recreation. Whether you're thinking about your first camper or looking to upgrade your current one, Scotch Recreation can help you. Get both our Route 202 Manchester and our Route 4 Turner locations, and online at scotchrecreation.com.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Join us for our 25th anniversary year. Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports, and every year over at Lee, 1st of August, the Ollie Silva Classic, Super Modified ISMA show, and just if the weather's great, you got a huge crowd. And a few years back, the weather wasn't great, everything suffered, the event suffered. But I'm going to tell you, the last 2 years, it has been a phenomenal event. But even more than the racing is what Bentley does, and we talked about it last week. Putting a bike ride together and to raise money for the Petty Victory Junction Camp, and 200 plus bikes rolling in at intermission and rolling around the track, and just all for a great cause. But even if it wasn't for that, even if it was just doing it for a bike ride, it's quite a sight to see. All those bikes, different people, friends of yours, friends of mine, all out there on the track, and just talk to people Saturday at Beach Ridge that participated in particular David Turner, and said, what a great time, be out there with Bentley and some other people and going on a track, and just amazing. And, they stopped Bentley on the front stretch and he says a few words, and, Bentley's not a big limelight guy, but, really hats off to Bentley and Lisa and the entire staff over there for what they do, and not only this particular event, but year-round. And go to BentleySaloon.com and look at the fundraisers they do. Every week they got a ride benefiting something, and really great people associated with us at Mainely Motorsports, and I appreciate all their help and efforts they have. But hear what Bentley had to say about the ride and everything that he does, and he's a big super modified guy, we all know that. So like I said, thanks once again to Bentley, Warren, and his entire staff for what they did.
He's here on a motorcycle and raising money for, of course, the Petty Victory Junction Gang Camp. We're talking about Bentley Warren. Give it up for the great Bentley Warren. And Bentley, you got a lot of bikes here tonight.
Well, the people love coming to this track, and they love watching the super modifieds races. And it's some of the best racing in the world, and I love doing it, but now I love watching it. I enjoy doing something with for the Petty Victory Junction and just everything. And the guys that ride really enjoy coming down here. They love the racing, they love riding on the track, and they love the fanfare.
Do you have a count of how many bikes we had here tonight?
There's a couple hundred or maybe more, I don't know. There's a lot of bikes, a lot of people, and it was a fun ride, and the police did a wonderful job getting us down here safely.
And of course, in case people don't know, of course, started at your place, Bentley Saloon, right on Route 1 in Arundel, Maine.
Yep, and it's a great turnout, it's really neat.
And a great cause too. I know that you know Richard Petty and the Petty family, and they put together the Victory Junction Gang Camp, and you give them great support with this event.
Yeah, we've given them thousands of dollars, and it's really neat. It's a happy thing, and we went down there, Lisa and I went there a few years ago and took the first check down. It was just amazing to see what the racers have done for those children. It's incredible. It makes your eyes water when you see it.
And every one of these people here tonight on these bikes have contributed to that great cause.
And they enjoy doing it. They really enjoy doing it. Thank you.
Well, we enjoy you coming here and coming back to the racetrack. And yeah, we'd love to see you out there in a super modified. Wouldn't you like that, ladies and gentlemen, to see Bentley back out there one more time? I don't know, Bentley, we're putting you on the spot. But listen, this is you made up for not racing tonight by what you did tonight with all these bikes and the great cause.
Well, thanks, and it was really fun doing it.
Congratulations. Thank you, Bentley.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I hope everybody sees some great racing tonight.
For sure, for sure. Give it up for the great Bentley Warren and his great cause for the Petty Victory Junction Gang Camp. Tonight, all of the bikes, said, over 200 of them here tonight, all the way down from Bentley Saloon on Route 1 in Arundel, here to the USA Speedway, again for the great cause.
Welcome to Mainely Motorsports.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainely Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.
Remember when you picked up a car key at the local hardware store? Then they said the car dealer was your only choice. Now there's eKeys for Cars, the fast, affordable solution to your car key and remote needs. Spare or a repair, you'll be serviced by eKeys trained technicians while you wait. And yes, eKeys still handles emergencies. But why wait? eKeys for Cars. Trust them with all your car key related needs.
They raise the bar, eKeys for Cars.
Well, we saw in the last segment, 200 plus bikes. They went to Lee USA Speedway for not only the bike run, but the big ISMA Super Modified Show. Packed house full of people for the ISMA Super Modified Show. And I talked to Red on Saturday, and he was pretty pleased with the turnout, the racing. Last year, we had a couple delays. We had a really scary red flag right at the beginning of the heat racing, but none of those issues this year. And, just if you ever get a chance to see these Super Modifieds, I mean, they race in the Midwest, they race up here in the Northeast, Lee, Star, Thompson. I mean, it's a feat to watch these guys and the control they have of these machines, the high horsepower, the lightweight, the wings, everything surrounding them, the give and take that they show, mutual respect to their competitors. So really, it's one of those can't miss shows. I want to thank Dave McGuire for going down and shooting for us and taking care of it and bringing it all back to you here on Mainly Motorsports. So enjoy the race highlights and hear from the top three in the ISMA Super Modified Ollie Silva Classic.
He is ready to crank it up here.
game plan from the get-go. It was to save the car for the end. And I had to get the guys where I could get them. The first two runners were running pretty hard early, and I knew they would fade. And they were getting looser and looser. And actually, I didn't really even show my hand until about the last 10 laps. I had a pretty tight car until about 10 to go, and I used it up in the last 10 laps. So I figured that was the time to let it all go. 61 come out of nowhere at the end, but he knows this track pretty well. And I told him this week, today. I figured he'd be who I'd race with today, and I actually studied him on my laps to figure out what lap he took off last year when he raced, so I'd be ready for him.
That's incredible. Studied it on my laps. Dave Scholich, congratulations. You're the 2015 Ollie Silva winner. Nice to have you in victory lane at Lee. How about a nice hand? Shoot 2 in victory lane.
Hi, this is Scott from Scott's Recreation. You don't have to wait until camping season is over to get your best price of the season on a new or used camper. We're having our end of season pricing sale now. Get your best deal of the season while the best part of camping season is still here. Plus, we take most anything on trade that we don't have to feed. No money down financing with some of the best rates we've seen in years. See our inventory online with pictures and prices. Find us, like us on Facebook.
Scott's Recreation, Turner and Manchester, Maine.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by
Four Seasons Synthetic. See them for all your Amsoil product needs. Town Fair Tire, with 6 locations in Maine: Auburn, Augusta, Bangor, Biddeford, South Portland, and Topsom. Awards and recognition, your #1 source in New England for all of your award needs. Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports, and we all talk about the racetracks and what they can do to increase their fan base and what they can do to put on a better show. And there's that little track up in Wiscasset. They just do what they want to do, and it works. And one of the things that when they first bought it, Richard and Vanessa, was they stuck with that. It's $5. You heard Ken mine it when we have him on here, $5. And it works. And I know there's nights where they need a lot of those $5 to come in to be able to cover the expenses for the night. But it is so nice to see those $5 come in and sit in the stands and see a great night's worth of racing. And the Boss Hog 100 is one of those races, along with the Coastal 200, the Top Gun Shootout. Races that they put those special events on, and those are races that a lot of tracks they are forced to up their price a little bit. And Richard and Vanessa and the entire staff over there, they say, we're sticking with it, and it pays off when you see some of the crowd shots that people were putting on Facebook from Wiscasset, and hear from the drivers that were competing there about the full house. And Gary Crooks, and we've had Gary on the show before. He puts on the grip seminar, brought one of his developmental drivers up there, raving about the facility and what they've done and the packed house and everything. So really, hats off to the Jordans and what they do. And then love to see the weather cooperate for all these racetracks and see a good night's worth of racing. And we once again want to thank Brandon Simmons. He shoots up there every week and he sent a highlight package to us, and we're able to bring you highlights and hear from the winners. Surprise winner at the Boss Hog 100, and I was as excited as anybody in his camp when I get the phone call from my daughter that this young man had won the race, and so excited. So enjoy these pieces we put together, and thank you to Brandon, and highlights from the Boss Hog 100 this past weekend up at Wiscasset Speedway.
Lights off on the Norms, trucks by Norms, Ford F-150 pace truck. A.J. Jordan hands him the flags. Pace truck will take the turn in. Turn 4, Timmy punching them up. Let's get the Boss Hog 100 underway. Green flag is out. Ahead of Wyatt like to be the kid who got his first career win, and it's none other than the Boss Hog 100. I mean, not only, I know you've been gunning for your first win on just a regular Saturday night show. Does it make it about 10 times better?
It's so much sweeter. I've been watching Boss Hog for a long time, and it's pretty special to do it in his race. I watched him here when I was little, the first time I came in the pits here, and this one's for all my sponsors, M&T Trucking, Speedway Sports Park, Hands Driveway Auto, Puzzle Racing, M.H. Humphrey & Sons. Gotta thank my grandmother, my grandfather, my mom, my dad, Normus Jardins, Chet Hanscom, the Peters, the Bowyers, you know, everybody. I don't think I forgot anybody, did I? Devin Riddle on the radio, my Uncle Raz. This is pretty special, and got to thank Lloyd Gilly and Johnny Pippin for riding with us today.
Yeah, now take us back to lap 70. This car was starting to go out to lunch. The 05, Osmond got by you pretty quick just before that caution came out. I know you must have been worried at that point.
I was, and I felt the right front going down. The 51 got back by me, and my best friend John Peters, and I let him go, and then I realized I had no choice to let him go because I was slowing down so much. I had a right front going down. As soon as that caution came out, I barreled it for the pits, and they got it changed quicker than I could have hoped for, and I got a drink of water in that pit stop and came back out, and can't believe it, I made it through the wreck and ended up in victory lane.
Yeah, and another timely caution as well had you with a buffer of about 3 or 4 lap cars back to Vinnie Miller, so that gave you a chance to get out in front and establish that big lead.
Yeah, absolutely, and plus you got to thank the Crooks Racing guys for coming up and supporting us. That's awesome for them to come all the way up here. Once we got that buffer, I thought I was going to have to start behind the 2 lap cars. I figured I'd still be able to get by them, but luckily I was able to start in front of them. And that made a lot of the difference. Once I got out front, I was just riding, but I wanted to get as far away because I knew that 16 car and the 01 and Chabak weren't going to, you know, if we had a caution, they were going to be right there. So I figured if we didn't have a caution, I wanted to be as far away as possible.
About 15 years ago, a young kid, almost your age, by the name of Johnny Clark, got his very first career win here at Wiscasset Speedway, winning the Coastal 150 at the time. How's it feel to say that Wyatt Alexander gets his first career win in the Boss Hog 100?
That's pretty special. I've watched Johnny for a long time. That's pretty special. I raced door to door with him in the past races, and he's definitely someone to look up to, so I can't ask for more than that.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for him, your winner of the 2015 Boss Hog 100, Wyatt Alexander.
There you have it, young Wyatt Alexander, 15 years old. I mean, everybody wants to win that first race, and nobody ever thinks it's going to be a big win in their first race. And here's this little kid, call him a little kid, because I still picture him in the go-kart days, and you know, getting his first win up there, and you know, not far from home, a lot of fans, a lot of, like I said, my kid went there, and the only reason she went there that night, I mean, she wanted to go racing, switched her schedule around so she could be there for Wyatt. And then when she called me, you know, right after, and in tech with the entire family, so excited, and yeah, and just so happy for that young man. Got a chance to talk to him on the phone, and you know, the entire family. And you know, when we all talk about it, you heard me talk at the beginning about Matt Swanson, and every kid's good. They're all great kids, but you know, they all touch me in a different way. And I'll never forget my first, you know, contact with the Alexander family, in particular Wyatt. You know, everybody knows about the Mainely Motorsports 400 races we put on. We actually were supposed to have one this coming week, and we postponed it till October, and we'll release the details soon. And but Richmond Karting Speedway is doing a phenomenal job up there and building the kart base. And I'll tell you, you want to plan on being over there in October when we work together with Will and Jenny and Anderson and put this race together. But we'll get to that later on down the road. I want to talk about Wyatt right now. But they came and participated. I think it was in my second Mainly Motorsports race. The first year they were off running WK Nationals, and but they still sponsored a little bit, bought a couple laps and some contingency stuff. And you know, Brett and Jen, super people. You know, Bob, you met Bob, the grandfather, up at the UNOH booth at the Mainly Northeast Motorsports Expo. Bob was a staple there for a few years, and you know, but Wyatt in particular, you know, came in, was going to run a couple races that day, you know, good equipment, everything, you know, definite threat to win. And I think one race, if I can remember correctly, Keyway came out, took his clutch, whatever, so very few laps in that. The other one, something, I think a piece of lead, so might have, you know, spent all day there, paid a lot of money to race, might have ran 10, 15 laps, if that. But that young man came up to me at the end of the day and thanked me for what I did that day for the karting community and putting on that big event. And he was taking nothing home. He didn't get a big trophy. He might have got a little contingency prize, but he wasn't getting a flag, he wasn't getting a hoodie, he was getting nothing except the experience of being there and seeing some great racing put on by others. And you know, that was my real first dealing with this young man. And you know, over the years, watching him in the Legends, you know, we did it about the same time as Alicia did it, and getting to know the family and Brett and Jen. And you know, anytime we're doing anything and we reach out to them, they're huge. They do anything we need to help us out. If it's not monetarily, it's support, you know, promoting what we're doing and encouraging everything we try to do. So, you know, so happy for the entire family. I just can't imagine, you know, a mom, you know, thinking back when this all started and he was on that little kid's cart going around and you know, and you're excited then, and then it, you know, it starts getting more expensive and it starts getting more nerve-wracking and all of it. And then you get a night like that just happened this past Saturday and you get rewarded with, you know, such a big win, and so proud of your son. And, you know, so really, you know, Brett and Jen, what a tremendous, tremendous job you've done with this young man. You guys, the viewers, have seen him on the show a couple times, and, you know, he had his grandfather on the show. Maybe now it's time to have the mother and father. I don't know if they've ever been on the show, but just hats off and congratulations from all of us at Mainely Motorsports to you and your entire family, because I know this is going to be a great week just every day as you wake up, and all the accolades keep coming in for this young man. And I know big on his schedule was to go to the Oxford 250 and compete and try to qualify for the richest one-day short track race in the country. And if nothing else, he's going to roll through them gate as the winner of the Boss Hog 100, which happened 3 or 4 weeks earlier. So the money obviously will help getting into Oxford, but the next thing that's going to help is the confidence. So, you know, like I said, congratulations to you, the entire Alexander War Racing team, as you can call yourself the Boss Hog 100 champions for 2015. So we're going to take a break. We'll wrap up this week's show and show you the results. So we'll be right back here on Mainly Motorsports.
I just bowled a perfect game. I'm going to Chicago Dogs.
I just got a hole-in-one. I'm going to Chicago Dogs.
You got a lays on your report card. We're going to Chicago Dogs.
Chicago Dogs, voted the state's best hot dog. Bring the entire family and try one of our 12 dog choices, hand-cut fries, cheesesteak, sausages, and a whole lot more. Chicago Dogs, you know you want one.
As we wrap up this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports, I want to challenge all of our viewers. We have roughly 4 to 8 weeks, depending on where your track races and if you just follow them weekly or if you look to make some extra big shows at the end of the year, left in the race season. I challenge all of you. We all know people have never been to a short track race. Find one friend. If every one of us takes one friend between now and the end of the season to a short track race, introduce them to the product that we all love, that we go to every week, that's never been, one new person. Maybe they'll get hooked, maybe they'll leave halfway through, maybe they'll never go again. But I challenge each and every one of us to take one person that's never been to a race over the next month or two at the end of the season and introduce them to short track racing at one of our favorite tracks throughout New England. So that's a challenge from me to you. So we hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports, and we'll see you next week right here on Mainly Motorsports.
Here we go. One step at a time, don't be living on the line. I don't need a friend, I got more than on the mind. Sunshine in my brain, making everyone complain. Radio in the heart, don't be being so strange. Think I'm losing it, baby, where have you been? Everybody says that you're moving again. I don't wanna be right, baby, every single night. And I could tell you a thing about taking your time. It's making me nervous, yeah. One step at a time.